Watch behind you.
Watch behind you. Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
And I'm Lauren.
And today, we'll be using our Captain Morgan's pose as Lauren's showing here. So grab an ottoman, a very low step, or a high step if that's for you. But start with the basics, and I'm going to start seated.
Oh.
Lauren's going to start with a hurdle. Ooh. Go turn that off. Thank you very much. Welcome to our practice. Have a seat. From here, we'll start with the head neck and then that rib cage next. Often at the head neck, we say flex, and Lauren gently caricaturize our flex neck for us here. Boom. All right. For today, as we flex our neck, just aim to bring it to the very top of the sternum. There's no need to go excessive neck bends here today. From this position where we're gently flexed, look towards the right side, over the shoulder. Then from there, lead with your nose looking up the wall. Return to the centering position, and then pull the crown high as your chin tucks again. Modest chin tuck for today. From here, rotate the other way. Chin down. Chin towards the clavicle. Look over the shoulder, and very slowly with strength, up to the ceiling. Rotate so that the nose and the chin face straight up, and crown head high, pulling the chin back to level. Now, pull down lightly on those scalenes, the front of the neck, to help support the head as we extend, looking up. Then I'll look out to the right this time, and then down the wall, till my head is level on the horizon mostly, and then that gentle chin tuck to center. Repeat one more time. Pull down in the front, but let it extend or up at the head. Then look out over the other side. In this case, it's my left. Then gentle chin nod as if to sniff that armpit. And then pull the chin to the top of the clavicle, returning to center, and relax. We did all of that head neck stuff without even talking about the hips. So how are you sitting on this apparatus that you choose? Are we slumpy or dumpy, or pulling those femurs in with our hips slightly anterior tipped or in that cow-like position? Let's do that once or twice more. Slump a little bit by pushing the femur heads out of the hips, and then compress those femur heads in the hips, tipping that tailbone back. Now let's hold that posture as we explore our figure 8 shape through our rib cage. Hands across chest or somewhere safe for you, and low effort, pull your shoulders into retraction. Gently chin tuck towards the top of the sternum. Then round through the rib cage next, forward. From here, I'll rotate to the right. Next, our gentle side bend to the back right hand corner, and then up and over an imaginary hurdle till our sternum or heart lines up in there. Belly button, and then pull the rib cage back down onto the hips. Switch our direction for the rotation. So this time, I'll rotate to the left.
Flex first.
Flex, you got it, Lauren. Flex first, then rotation. Then our side flex or side bend to the back corner, up and over that imaginary hurdle, and then pull that rib cage back down. Just like the head neck, as we go up through the rib cage, pull down on the abdominals. Pull down on the abs, gently lifting up and over that hurdle out the back this time. Now we'll add our rotation again, follow by a side bend to the corner, and then a gentle rounding shape back around to the front. Pull down on the abs as we lift up into extension. Not last time here, we'll add the rotation to the other corner. A gentle side bend. Then gently rounding to the front. When the sternum lines up with that belly button, pull down on it and extend the T-spine or the rib cage. And finish with just a little bit of a shake. From here, we have a figure 4 on the menu, and for that, I'll let Lauren describe what's going on.
Excellent. Stay seated. Keep those femurs, heads reaching back behind you. Now, we're going to straighten out both legs. From here, we're gonna bend one knee, lifting it up towards our chest. Oh, this is really hard for me. You
It's
put me
so
on the
low.
lowest bench.
Such a low bench.
You're gonna take the bent leg and gently rotate it into your external rotation. And then from there, let's re-tip those hips to the back wall as you slide the other leg in so that we're in our nice figure 4-like shape. Now, from this position, our rotation here is to push that knee towards the floor, but use your own power. So drive that knee towards the floor, and then gently bring the knee towards the opposite shoulder, towards crossing that midline. As you do that, try to stay in that nice extended position in that low back. Let's again pry that knee away from center towards the floor, and then gently knee across the body. As you do this, thinking about that pelvis or those hip sockets not moving, and just the leg in there moving. Now bring that knee back to center, unhook the foot, unrotate the leg, place it down. Same thing on the other side. So let's reach those femurs back behind us, extend the legs out, take the other leg up into hip flexion, and then rotate it to find the leg, and then bend that long leg in. Adjust as needed once you're there. Again, sitting up tall, we'll go knee towards opposite side of the body, and then gently press away. That knee pushes towards the floor. Repeat, knee to cross the body, and then pushes towards the floor. If I had a belt on, it would be at the same level this whole time, just the leg rotating across and then driving away. Now let's bring that knee back to center, unhook the foot, place it down on the floor. Excellent.
Is right.
Nice.
The menu board is in blue and it's hard to read today. But from the figure 4, let's stand up and get the ankles going. And from there, more work with that apparatus, so keep it handy. I'll do the feet and Lauren will take over the hips. With the feet in parallel, let's get to that lunging style foot or the demi-point raise. Check. If allowed, go towards that toe point and check in with that tension and allow yourself to flex over those toes. Now push your toes forward. Push them into the floor, returning to those balls of feet. And as the heel comes down to the ground, encourage the hip into extension or pushing forward. Same effort, other side. Ball of foot, check. Then the toe point, check, check. Maybe flex over those toes. Then push the toes forward. Get back to those balls of feet, and the hip extends forward as the heel returns to the floor. One more, just like that. We'll pull, off, point, next. Gently ask yourself to enjoy that stretch for the top of the foot while you challenge the bottom, and then push the floor away. Push the heel down as the hip goes forward. Effort, same on the other side. Ball of foot towards a toe point. Gently allow yourself to flex over on that ankle, then push the toes forward, return the heel to the floor by extending the hip through. One last thing, and Lauren will expand on this on the block. Get to the ball of the foot, return to the toe point. Now keep touching the floor with that toe point, but imagine pulling into the hip and eventually off the ground. As you do this for 5 more seconds, I hope these inner groin muscles are working and the standing leg is working as well. Then go back to the ball of the foot, but return to the toe point one more time. Same thing, keep touching the floor, but slurp up that tension as you're pulling the femur into the hip, cramp the standing leg, then return to the balls of feet and encourage that hip to continue to extend forward. Last time, other side for 2. Ball of foot, gently to the toe. While on the toe, pull in, compress that femur. The leg you're standing on is tucked under like a cat. The one you're elevating is tipped back like a cow. Then gently return the ball of the foot to the ground. Repeat one more time. It's that toe point. Pull it off the ground, but continue to keep suctioned to that floor to improve that stability on the standing leg and the hip compression for strength on the elevated toes. Then return to the balls of the feet. Hips extend through. Add some wiggle to those ankles, fill it with tension, shake it out in between, and let's return to your apparatus for some hips.
Some more hips. Let's stand lightly behind our apparatus, and we'll start with our hamstring actually. So we're gonna bend a single knee, kicking a bum, trying to keep those quads in parallel. Then we'll bring that knee through. As we do that, try to reach both those hips to the back wall or that slight anterior tip. Extend, placing your foot on your step. Once here, let's drag the heel a couple millimeters towards us, encouraging again that anterior tip of the hip and the femur drive towards the back wall. Once we're here, we're tall on our standing leg. Let's do one rotation in the socket. So gently rotating so that inseam is facing the ceiling, and then back to center, and then that light internal rotation, but again, keeping the belt level, not hiking the hip. Gently come back to center. Let's pull the foot to the shin, driving the heel away from us. That alone should intensify the feelings in the back of the leg through the hamstring. Keep that foot pulled towards you. Maybe add a little bit more tip to the hips. Add a slight hinge forward, but keep a long spine. Feel that length through hamstrings. Say, holla. Then press through to tall. Drag the heel off, keeping the tailbones reaching back behind you. Now we're going to tuck to brace the core as our knee drives underneath us to parallel again, and then straighten out the leg. So much work just for a hamstring stretch. Think about it.
Lots of work there.
All right, same thing on that second side. So with those quads parallel, flick the floor, gently bring that knee back through, keeping reaching behind you. Extend, placing your foot on your step. Right away, drag that heel a millimeter towards you so the leg pulls into the socket. The anterior tip of the hips are reaching to the back. With that nice straight leg and a foot pulled towards our shin, let's do our rotation. So inseam towards the ceiling, and then back to center, and a little bit of a rotation in from the femur hip bone, and then back to center. Re-pull the foot to the shin, lightly hinge on those hips, nice long spine to hinge forward. Whew. Yes, make sure we're square towards the front of the room. Then we'll press those hips through, drag the foot up, brace the core as we sweep the leg back behind under us, and then straighten underneath. Nice. Do a little shoulder something, and then we'll come back to that hip flexion.
A little shoulder something. From standing from seated, palms face forward. Low effort first, followed by high efforts next. Low effort, shrug the shoulders like you don't know. Then let gravity take over and relax. Now imagine holding on to 500-pound dumbbells, and that might depress the shoulder blades or reach those fingertips towards the floor. And then relax, and they'll probably shrug just a little bit. Repeat that one more time as we gently reach up or shrug, and then down, reaching towards the floor. Reset somewhere in the middle of that. Now with the hands at the sides, even slightly behind your lateral IT bands or those lateral seams of the outside pants, retract the shoulders together. Then, keeping the hands stationary, protract or round the shoulders forward. Repeat again, low efforts at first here, retract the shoulders. Could they go more? Could they go more? Then gently round or protract forward. Finish in a retraction, and then again, let that shake out and wiggle. We'll return to those shoulders in just a second. First, the Captain Morgan stance for those hips.
Excellent. We'll get a little closer to our step this time and start the exact same way. With those quads in parallel, gently bending the knee, bringing it up. Now the knee stays bent as we place the foot on our step. Let's adjust. I would like that front shin to be vertical right now. So vertical front shin. That back standing leg is ramrod straight. Probably straighten it more because it's probably not straight. Straighten it. Yep. Now push down on that front leg and lightly pull it in. So we have that top leg and the femurs reaching to the wall behind you, and the bottom leg where we're trying to scoop under and squeeze that back cheek, and the bottom leg is still straight, isn't it? Now feel that scissor action. One's pulling back, one's pressing forward. Scissor, 3, 2. Now don't lose the tension, but switch the direction of your forces without moving. Push forward on the top leg and backwards on the bottom leg. But I shouldn't have really seen you move. Now do it again. Pull it back into center. Front leg pulls in, back leg pushes forward. 3, 2, again, nothing should really change to the visual eye, but your forces will change forward and backwards, forward and backwards. And then one last time, pull to center. Let's hold that for a couple more seconds. We're trying to square up that upper body, square up the hips. Now keep that tension in the bottom leg, keep extending it, keep the knee straight. Slowly start to lift off that top leg. And then can we tip the hips to the back wall and keep trying to lift the knee? And tip again and keep trying to lift the knee as to not let our low back curl underneath us. As we brush the knee back, tighten up those abs to not arch the low back. And then lightly straighten and down. Shake it out.
Shaking it.
Same thing other side. Bend, flick. Pull that leg through to your standing Captain Morgan. Once we're here, square up the hips, square up the upper body. It's kind of challenging sometimes. And then straighten your bottom leg. With that bottom leg straightened and slightly tucked under, the top leg is pulling back. So again, our scissor forces are the going. One's pulling in, one pushing forward. Pulling in, pushing forward. For 3, 2, nothing changes visually, but your forces switch direction. Pushing down and forward on your front leg and back on that back leg. For 3, 2, then pull back to center. Pull back to center. For 3, 2, one more time, push away from center. 3, 2, and last time, pulling back in, keeping that back hip extended. Now, let's slowly start to lift off that top leg. Keep the tailbone tilted to the back wall. Gently bend, brushing that leg back behind you, and then fully straighten out underneath. Whew. Excellent.
We want open space in this practice too. So using our best squats, using our best hinges.
Don't worry, Ian, I got it.
Or making someone else do all of the work. Get rid of that bench. And now hopefully we can get those bars on the wall, the kitchen counter, or our chair nearby as well. But first, let's get to the floor through our toe squat. We warmed up those ankles, toe squats to the floor, and then a little core plank challenge. So feet forward, easy does it, knee bend. Then lift up those heels, return the heels to the floor, and press those hips forward into extension. Repeat, knee over toe. Lift up the heels. This time, holding on your balance aid if you need. Take your time descending. Then can we go right back up on those toes? Reset the heels to the floor with control. This time we'll end up on the floor, but go flat feet, knees over toes. Peel those heels up, assisting yourself to get lower. And whether with your hands like me, or maybe no hands like Lauren, knees to the floor, hips extend through. Quick wrist warm up, and then we'll go to those planks. Fingertips, calluses, full hand screw in with those blood donations facing forward, At the thumbs, press them in the floor, and then try to lift them. Straighten the elbows and relax. At the index fingers, press them in the floor, turning your fingertips white, then try to lift them. Straighten your elbows. Then do the same on the middle. Heavy tension down, intention to lift up. Repeat on the on the ring fingers, press the ring fingers down, then try to lift and straighten those elbows. And last time on the pinkies, heavy tension down, follow that with our lift, then press so heavy through all those digits that you end up flicking the wrist away and shaking out. Return to the floor, but this time with gorilla fists, particularly those peace sign knuckles. So here we are on our knuckles. While you're on your peace sign, being the index and middle, try to reach the pinky knuckle to the floor. It probably won't move, but look to strengthen or lengthen out that lateral border of the hand to continue to share load into the floor. Now, one at a time, gently flex over the wrist. Pack that armpit down. From this position, that's a flexible move. Now make it a strong move with strength as you press the knuckle heads into the floor, returning to a safe, extended, or neutral wrist here. Again, easy on the over. Prioritize the peace sign digits, that index and middle, and then drive those knuckleheads into the ground and back. I've never used knuckleheads in a good way, but I think this is a good way. Let's do it again. Easy on the over, you knucklehead. Then pull, what do we call them? The metacarpal heads. Let's press the callus line on the back into the ground, returning the wrist. One more time. Easy flex over, that's flexibility. Do we have the strength to come back from that to return the wrist? Now the fingers don't help too much from here, but flick the fingers away, extend the hips, shake it out. One more time, let's return to those hands in a conventional way. I hope that feels more open. Then from there, modify your planks, as I just did by stepping my knees back, or assemble in that high planks position right away. And for 5 seconds, pull isometrically with no movement, but lots of work, that right hand to the right hip. And then coast that effort away. Repeat on the left. Pull the left foot to the left hand to the left foot. And then relax. Now do both. Pull, right hand to right hip, left foot to left hand. 3, 2, easy does it. Return the knees to the floor. Flick away, shake it out. One more time in that Captain Morgan inspired stance, Lauren. Take us into a light lunge.
Excellent. So from our kneeling position, we'll bring one leg in front of us. We've done our forward back motion here, so let's step that leg out to the side. So heel toe the leg to the side, hips still face forward, shoulders still square forward. Now, same idea as what we did on our step. That back hip is extended, the front leg pulling in. So think that, still reaching back, but on a different vector line. That's right, got that word in there. So with that back hip pushing forward, the front leg pulling in, we feel the forces in these sorts of directions. So we're still scissoring. Now again, without a visual change, so isometrically, push the forces away from center. Push away for 3, 2, then pull them back in for 3, 2, one more time, press away. And last time, pulling them back in, keeping those hips extended, the belt level. And now this time, we'll squeeze our back cheek, we'll drive down on that side leg, and we'll drift knee towards over toe, keeping your back hip still extended, pushing forward. Now, as we push out of this, we're gonna push away, but we're gonna meet up tall. So grow up, grow up, grow up, and then gently relax. We'll heel toe that foot to the front, pull it underneath, and perform the same activity on the other side. So with the other leg up in front, we'll heel toe it open, doody-doo. Now that it's somewhat beside us, this was between like 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock or 3 o'clock and 1 o'clock on the face. Our hips and shoulders are square forward. That back hip is extended. Our front side leg is pushing down and pulling in. Driving down, pulling in, back hip forward for 3, 2, now change it, press away from center. 3, 2, pull it back in, keep that extended, keep square forward. And one more time, pressing away. And then last time pulling in, and on this pull in, we'll add our gentle drift. So that knee is gonna drift towards over the toe, even as that back hip stays extended. Hold for a couple seconds, and then press back to tall, 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 tall. Relax for a second. Heel toe that foot to the front. Bring it underneath. How you wanna stand up, Ian?
Ooh, the little sizes hit series. So could we point those toes? And from there, perhaps sit, buttocks towards heels. Squeeze your right butt cheek. Bounce, squeeze that left butt cheek. Then cramp both butt cheeks, fully extending those hips to our tall kneel. Then tuck the toes, with assistance or without. Get to that toe squat. Let's keep the heels up. Press yourself to tall. Return to the floor with control. Before we get in those hip bars, one more time with those shoulders. Let's have those palms face forward. Low effort, elevate the shoulders up. Let up win, but create heavy tension by trying to touch the floor. Breathe, a chin tuck. Shrug up, but pull down and let that relax. Opposite to that, we're trying to strengthen those low traps here as we gently reach to the floor, let down win, and with both sides working, shrug from those upper trapezius muscles, but let the tension manifest on the armpits or those side lines of the body. And then gently relax. Repeat one more time as we elevate the shoulders in a shrug. Let that scarecrow shape win. But with effort, stiffened elbows, arms pulling into the rib cage, try to reach to the floor and breathe.
Wait, I'm letting up. Wait.
And relax. And for the final time, we'll sink those anchors down like we're holding 500-pound weights. Let the down win, but recruit those upper trap muscles against the strength from the lower trap muscles to create tension. And hopefully when you're done that, like we are right there, it feels light and work. So repeat that effort to the front. So with a front raise with those arms, palms face up or together, facing in with a neutral grip. Round the shoulder blades forward. Keep the rounding shape, but try to pull the shoulder blades together. Think of that row exercise, but strengthen the armpit to support. Now relax. Retract, so squeeze a pencil between those shoulder blades. Now let the rhomboids, the muscles that keep the shoulders in together, win, but try to reach forward. Shoulder blades, don't move, but try to work hard. And then relax. One more time, gently protract. So that's that rounded shoulder shape reaching forward. Let forward win, but try to recruit those shoulder blades to retract, but strengthen those armpits as well. Relax. One last time, return the shoulder blades into the retraction. Maybe wear that rib cage a little bit forward, and then keep the shoulder blades tight and try to reach forward and breathe. And straighten the elbows. And 3, 2, and then relax and wiggle. Most people in our practice here say, oh, that feels good for that upper back. We're trying to create stability for that shoulder blade, that it's never truly all in one direction, but rather sharing ups and downs and those fronts and backs. Lauren has got that chair. Do you have your balance aid? I recommend using one for gentle versions of
The leg bar.
the leg bar.
All right, the first version will be our straight leg. So standing tall on that inside leg, which is the leg closest to your apparatus. Point the other leg out front. Remembering, as we talked about here, that we're only pointing as far as we can and stay in our cylinder versus letting our hips reach with us. So let's pull that leg back under and try that again. Reach to the front, keep your hips, pelvis in the same place. Now gently rotate so that inseam faces up towards the ceiling. Keep the toe connected to the floor as the leg draws a half circle or a quarter circle to the side position. In this side position, gently turn the leg in to hide the inseam, and then continue drawing that circle all the way around the back. Try to get right behind you. Once you're behind you, don't bend your knee yet, but flex your foot, pulling your foot to your shin. As you bring this leg underneath, can you keep the knee super straight as it passes through center and repeats to the front again? So to the front, only as far as you can. Then rotate open, sending the leg to the side, the hips stay square forward. Gently rotate in on the leg. Continue drawing that circle all the way around the back. Feel that work in the standing leg. Flex over the foot. Keep the knee straight as it passes underneath you. Whew, take a second. Lots of work on that side. Now to the back for 2 with a flex foot. So pull your foot off the floor first into that flex position. Then reach out the back. Start the rotation in the socket so the inseam starts facing forward. The leg will go to the side. Then let's point our foot once we're there. Keep contact with the floor as we finish the circle all the way to the front. And then pass through center. Keep that flex foot as you pass through to the back. Reach long, keep the knee straight. From the femur bone, start rotating open. Leg to the side, connect with the floor again. Then continue drawing that circle to the front and pull underneath, growing tall. And then relax. If I had chalk on my toe, my circle would be a nice, perfect half circle all the way around the side and then straight through to center. Let's try the other side now. So tall on the inside leg. Point the leg to the front, staying within your cylinder. Externally rotate, inseam faces up. Start drawing that half circle to the side, or quarter, sorry. Once at that sidemost point, internally rotate the femur to hide the inseam, and then continue all the way around the back. Once at the back, stay long back there, keep the knee straight, but flex the foot. Now keeping the knee straight, it'll pass through center. You should have room under there with a straight knee to come all the way through. Rotate open. Send the leg to the side. Stay connected to the floor with those hips pushing forward. Then that light internal rotation. Continue around the back, all the way behind you. Once behind you, flex that foot and pull underneath. Now to the back. With that flex foot remaining, reach to the back. Start rotating open the leg in the socket. The leg, not just the ankle, not just the knee, the leg. Then once out the side, point. Stay connected to the floor. Finish the circle to the front. And one last time to the back. Stay on that flex foot, reach long. Then rotate open. Leg comes around to the side, pointed foot. Continue out to the front. And then pull underneath, nice straight leg growing tall. Woo. Give those legs a second. Give those hips a little break. Shake it out and...
Shake it out and toe squat to the floor again. At the floor this time, continuing that conversation with the shoulder blades, and we'll operate from that bear position or a crawl. Knees over toes, get lower as allowed by lifting up those heels. Then the knees return to the floor, squeeze your butt through, and focus on that cow-like hip to cat in the sense of tucking under. I said that wrong. We'll get that soon enough. From here, fingertips to the floor, calluses, and then hands. This time through with the knees down, lightly squeeze your shoulder blades together. Retraction. Then shrug your shoulder blades up to the ears, elevation. Then press into the floor, wrapping this shoulder blades around the body. That's protraction. And then down to the hips, depression. Retract.
Pinching down.
Elevate. Protract. Down to the hips, retract, and then push the floor away and tuck under those hips in that tall kneel position. Let's repeat that same movement again, but in the opposite direction. So together, down, forward, up. Hinge on hips, accept that floor through the hands, and start with the shoulder blades retracted or pinching that pencil between. Then pull them to the hips, down. Then press into the floor, protracting. Gently elevate the shoulders from there, and then retract. One last time, they go down to the hips with straight elbows, press into the floor. That should straighten your elbows too. Then shrug one last time, retract one last time, then push the floor away, pushing the hips through. Then let's go back. Maybe we could toe squat from here. Whether it's with assistance or without, we'll be in our toe squat. Let's stand up nice and tall, maybe tiptoe for your balance, and then easy does it, return to the floor with a little bit of a shakeout there. Next, Lauren, what you got?
Back to the hip bars.
Back to that hip bar, one last time.
All right, let's perform them on bent legs because it's so great. Little bit different though. Standing tall on your inside leg. We're going to do positionally versus linking them all together. So we'll peel our foot up off the floor, knee comes to the front. The leg is dragging up the inseam of the other leg. As we do this right now, our hips are in that anterior tip, meaning that tailbone's reaching behind you. Hold. Knee is right in front of you. Look down at it. Is it out to the side or is it in front of you? Good. Now, slowly slide that leg back down towards the floor. Connect with the toes, the ball, and then the heel as the hip extends. Repeat again in the same direction. That light tailbone tilt to the back as you peel the foot up off the floor, dragging it up the inseam and keeping that knee tight to the midline, and hold for 3, 2. Now let's keep it here and gently pry that knee open to the side, creating our number 4. And then use those adductors to pull back to center. As you do this, check in on your standing leg. Are you still tall on that standing leg, or did you let it slump out to the side? pull it back in. Return that knee to the front, brush it underneath, and we'll straighten it out. Great. Now, we're gonna work on bending the knee without flexing the hip. All that means is we're keeping our quads in parallel. We're gonna lightly tuck under to brace the core, and now flick the floor away and try to get your heel to your butt without your knee coming forward. And hold for 3, 2, and then straighten that leg underneath with that flex foot, and there should be room for it. Stay tall, repeat again. Light tuck of the hips under to brace, and hold. Trying to get the heel to the bum. Now let's keep it there. Again, with the quads in parallel, let's lift the leg to the side. As we do that, normal human is about 45 degrees, so don't feel like you have to lift it up to 90, and then pull it back underneath. If there was that pane of glass in front of you, the leg would be staying in line with it and not trying to press forward, holding it to the side for 3, 2, then bring it back underneath and straighten it out under. Yeah, you did that a little differently, but that's okay. And then let's switch sides.
I'll have to watch this time instead.
Just straight to the side. Okay, same thing on the other side. So first, peeling that knee up off the floor to the front. We have that light anterior tip of the hips is to not arch that low back underneath with us. Hold. Compress in the socket. 3, 2, then toe, ball, heel, hip extends. Repeat again. Peel the foot up off the floor. Knee to the front, lightly reaching to the back. Keep that connection of the foot to the knee as we pry the leg open to the side. And then use those adductors to pull back to center. Check in with that standing leg that it's still stacked as you pry the leg open. And then pull back to center. Let's drive that leg back down to the floor and extend the hips. Now we're doing our kick butts. So with those quads parallel, slight tuck to brace, flick the floor away, get the heel as close to the bum as you can. Hold. 3, 2, the quads should still remain parallel as you straighten the leg underneath. Repeat again. Tuck, flick the floor, get it as close to the bum as possible, holding that $1 million bill behind your knee. Now keep those quads parallel and gently lift the leg straight up to the side and hold for 3, 2, then adduct, bringing it back inseam to inseam. That knee should still be bent with the $1 million behind you. Reach again, straight up to the side. Remembering we have that wall right in front of us. 3, 2, then bring it back underneath and straighten the leg out. Whew. And relax. Nice.
And relax. One more time with those shoulders, and hopefully we start to feel those abs on the floor as well, as we'll get into our toe squat and finish with a shoulder movement on the ground. It's feet flat. Yep. Then it's the knees over toes. Yep. Then the heels could lift as we descend and with control. And now push those hips through, tucking under like Lauren just had us do in that last move. Then from here, it's hands on the floor and lift the knees if that's a challenge for you, as it will make it more difficult. Or just keep your knees on the floor as you build awareness through the shoulder blades. Push the hands forward, push your feet back so that your knees might lift in the middle. Retract the shoulders, then shrug up. Now press in the floor, wrapping around the body, and pull them to the hips and retract. One last time, shrug. One last time, press. Pull to the hips, retract. Knees down and push the floor away, extending those hips through. One last time in the other direction. Let's set up our hip hinge. Fingers, calluses, hands. Press the hands forward, the feet back. We start in retraction, the pencil between the blades. Then pull them down to the hips. Press, protraction, elevate, and retract. And last time to the hips down. Then press into the floor. Elevate the shoulders. Retract, knees down. Push the floor away. And shake. We're out of time. There's no time for a movement clock today. Did you miss that movement clock? If so, join maybe on the Sunday morning practice or do it as your own. What movements do you like? Send us a comment. What movements do you want to include or work on? Send us a link send us a letter as in response to your link letter on Monday. Thank you very much for being here today at Restore and Recharge. My name is Ian.
Just sending you some snail mail there.
Sending some
My name is
messages out.
Lauren. Thanks for joining us today. We will be playing with our strength tomorrow at 8 a.m. We'll roll, we'll crawl, and we'll work towards getting upside down. Until then, take care, stay strong, and we'll train soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.